Hey guys, just a quick video here to show you a technique that you might find handy. Many times when you're creating a Illustrator, a vector art, you want to rotate something around a certain point, like the center here. You want to do it using constrained angles. Fortunately, Illustrator only offers you fixed angles. Even if you go to edit preferences, general, and change the constraint angle, like for instance if I need 60 degrees, like in this case I want 60 degrees copies rotating around this point here, you won't get it as soon as you use the rotate tool and you start. Let me just select the shape instead of the points. So if I rotate now, just move the center over here, and if I start rotating, then I hold shift, you see that it snaps to 45 degrees and not 6 degrees. That setting in preferences, it's actually just for newly created objects or when you're creating lines or guidelines, stuff like that. Not useful for regular transformations. Okay, so how to work that out? I mean, this is very important to do that. And there's the duplicate function that can come handy sometimes. So for instance, you set the anchor here, then you start rotating the shape, then you can hold Alt to duplicate it instead of just rotating it. And then if you're lucky and you get something close to the angle you want, for instance here I'm like 60, yeah, okay, I got this time. So when you get that lucky, you can simply just hit Control D multiple times, and it's gonna work. Okay, but sometimes that's not a good option. Many times actually you can't get that lucky. Actually, this is the first time I get precisely 60 degrees. So how to make that precise? Well, here's the trick, available starting from Illustrator CS5. You're gonna use the symbols menu. Just go to Window, enable the symbols panel, just dock it if you want, and you're gonna create a symbol. So how's that gonna work? Symbols were created just to enhance interoperability with Flash, but they add you a very important option here in the transform panel, because the transform panel, there are the reference points positions that you can use, like bottom left and bottom. But in our case, that doesn't help. We don't want it to be this point. We want it to be this point. So there's a new option here in the menu of the transform panel, which is called use registration point for symbol. So how can you use that to your advantage? Simply create a symbol. So, but first you're gonna reposition the shape that you want. For instance, this guy, I wanted to have its center intersecting the guidelines that I had previously created. It's the actual center that I want it to be. Okay, so and now you just create a symbol. Just with it selected, hit the new symbol box. This option won't make any difference. It's just for Flash compatibility. So I just give it a name and make sure the registration point is at the center. You could alternatively put it, for instance, over here and snap it using the bottom point, and then you would change the registration point to the bottom element. But I generally find more precise to just use the bounding box center. Okay, so just click OK, and now you've got the symbol created. And the big advantage is that you can see here that symbols actually have a pivot point. They actually have a rotation center, which is great. So it's not arbitrary or just snapping to one of those 9 possible corners of the shape's bounding box. It's actually arbitrary, and it's tied to the shape, which is excellent. It works just like a 3D program, for instance, or if you use Unity and Raise tools, the actual pivot point, okay, for you to rotate the shape around. So in this case, I'm just gonna move this guy up. Let me just make sure it snaps to the guideline that I had set previously. So supposing that's the rotation that I want to carry out. Okay, that's the distance of the shape that I want to use for this transformation. So just I had entered isolation mode, by the way. I didn't mention that. So simply double clicking the shape, you enter the isolation, and that's where you can offset your shape from its pivot point or registration point. So now that you've done that, you notice that if you go to the transform box and enter, for instance, -60, it's going to rotate around this point, and it's not going to move it alongside the shape, which is what you want. So you can hit Ctrl D multiple times and it's going to work, or you can use the rotation tool and just double click the tool icon and set the angle you want, and click on copy, and the preview already shows you that it automatically uses the registration center instead of always the bounding box center, as this box usually does. So just click on copy, and then you can use Ctrl D to repeat it multiple times, and you see that it snaps perfectly to the angle that you want. Okay, so from now on, you would probably want to get rid of the instance. Just select the shapes, go to object, expand. In this case, I just need the object, and then you expand it. It becomes a regular set of shapes, like you can see here, which you can then group, Control G, and rotate, and you see that the geometric center is precisely set to the center of all shapes. So if you do it like that, you can then rotate it freely, and you see that it's gonna work precisely like you want. Okay, so that's it. Just a quick tip, but that's probably gonna prove useful when you're setting regular shapes that rotate around a specific point multiple times. Right? Have fun. See you soon.